2 game weeks left, and right now, thousands of FPL managers are staring at their squads thinking, is my season over? It's not. I'm Josh from FPL Hauly. I've 17 seasons playing FPL, and I'm a top 1k all-time ranked manager. And in this video, I'm giving you a clear framework for your final transfers of the season, based on your goals, your rank, and your manager profile. Let's get into it. So let me put some context on the screen before we get into the recommendations. 2 game weeks left, every single point matters at this stage. And if you've got no chips left, that is fine. I would estimate around 90% of engaged managers have now used all their chips. It comes down to transfers now. So here's what makes me say your season isn't over, and I'll use myself as the case study. I'm recording this on Monday afternoon with 2 game week 36 fixtures still to play. Spurs versus Leeds tonight and Man City versus Palace on Wednesday. But even with those games still outstanding, I already have a green arrow of just 3 points. And those 3 points have actually moved me up 8,000 places. So that puts me at a rank of around 66k. And here's the number that keeps me motivated. I am now just 9 points off my end of season goal of top 50k. 9 points, 2 game weeks, that is absolutely achievable with the right transfers. And the same logic applies to you. Your goal might feel out of reach, but when you break it down, the gap is probably smaller than you think. 1 or 2 smart moves between now and game week 38 could be all the difference. So who should you be targeting? And I've tried to keep this simple, but the formula is fixtures plus motivation equals your shopping list. So good fixtures alone are not enough at this stage of the season. You need teams that still have something to play for. So let me run you through this table. Arsenal, Burnley at home, Crystal Palace away. Are they motivated? Absolutely. Arsenal are 2 games away from winning the title. They will be fully rested after the West Ham game, and Arsenal are going to want to score as many goals as possible to extend their goal difference lead over Man City. This is the standout fixture of the final 2 game weeks. Arsenal are my number 1 target. Everton. They play Sunderland at home and Spurs away. Are they motivated? Yes. Everton are pushing for European football next season, and there's even a scenario where they could make Champions League if the results fall their way. So, good form, good fixtures, and great motivation. Everton are on the shortlist. Chelsea. Spurs at home, Sunderland away. Are they motivated? Yes, they want to be back in Europe. I wouldn't go too aggressive on Chelsea though, given their managerial situation, but there are 1 or 2 players worth targeting, and I'll come to those shortly. Spurs. Chelsea away, Everton at home. Are they motivated? Absolutely. They are fighting for their lives. It's now a straight shootout between Spurs and West Ham to avoid relegation, so they have maximum motivation. Man City, Bournemouth away and Aston Villa at home. Motivated? Yes. City are still in this title race, and they'll want to apply as much pressure as possible on Arsenal. Bournemouth away is a tough fixture, but if they get through that and win, they had Villa on the last game of the season, and Villa may have won the Europa League 3 days earlier. So expect rotation from Villa. Now, 2 teams worth flagging that didn't make the shortlist. Newcastle, they have a lovely fixture at home to West Ham, but I'm not convinced they have enough to play for. They can't get Europe, then no threat of relegation. So you could consider them, but go in with your eyes open. The same goes for Man United, a really nice home fixture against Forest, who are now safe. Bruno Fernandes has personal motivation chasing the Premier League assist record, but outside of Bruno, I'd be leaving Man United alone. So to summarise, your shortlist: Arsenal, Everton, Chelsea, Spurs and Man City. These are the teams I'll be shopping from in the next few slides. Before I give you the player recommendations, I need you to do one thing. Be honest about which manager profile you are. So manager 1, you want to protect rank. You're happy with where you are, you want to mirror the template and minimise your downside. Take no unnecessary risks. Manager 2, you want to gain rank. You need to make up somewhere between 10 and 50k rank places. You want a few calculated bets alongside your template holds. This is my position. Manager 3, the Hail Mary. You've got a big gap to close, or maybe a mini league rival to chase down. You need to roll the dice, maximum differential, high risk, high reward. So know which manager profile you are, because your profile determines your transfer strategy. Drop it in the comments and let me know. Are you manager 1, 2, or 3? I read every single comment. So manager 1s, these won't surprise you. Most of you will already have the majority of these players. In goal, Raya or Donnarumma. Two of the best defences in the league. If you need a goalkeeper, these are your two options. In defence, Gabriel or Saliba. If you want in on that Arsenal backline, these are your nailed options. Ben White picked up what looked like a bad injury yesterday against West Ham, and there were rotation questions across the fullback positions. But Gabriel and Saliba are going nowhere. In midfield, Bruno Fernandes. He is averaging 6.42 points per game this season. So that's first for all midfielders. He has personal motivation chasing the all-time Premier League assist record. So if you need a midfielder, Bruno is the standout pick. Now, Declan Rice is the alternative. He's having a quiet patch at the moment, but he's still averaging 5.11 points per game, which is the fourth highest scoring midfielder. And with Arsenal at home to Burnley, you could absolutely see him get a goal or an assist. Now, for the forwards, Haaland or Thiago. Haaland needs no introduction, and Thiago has a lovely home fixture against Crystal Palace in Game Week 37. Remember, mirror the template, minimise your downside. Manager 2s, this is my territory. We want template coverage with a calculated edge. So for goalkeepers, Pickford or Leno. Everton are in good form and have huge motivation for Europe. Pickford is my preference here. Leno is fine, but I do have slight concerns about Fulham's defence. Now, Joachim Andersen is suspended for the rest of the season. In defence, Keane at Everton or Chow at Newcastle. Everton and Newcastle defensive coverage, not the most exciting picks, but they give you the right team exposure and they're a good price. Midfield, and here's where it gets interesting. Saka is listed here not because he's a differential, he's averaging 4.9 points per game. 8th for midfielders, and his ownership is low enough that a big haul moves your rank significantly. Palmer is the alternative, 4.33 points per game, so he's actually 15th this season. He has had a disappointing season by his standards, but if you can believe he can still deliver in the final two games, he could be your Chelsea differential. And speaking of Chelsea players, in the forwards, Joao Pedro or Calvert-Lewin. So Joao Pedro is quietly having a really excellent season. He's averaging 5.81 points per game, which is the second highest scoring striker behind Haaland. Chelsea have motivation and he's a real differential. And then Calvert-Lewin as the alternative if you want Leeds attacking coverage. But do beware, Leeds are now safe from relegation, so don't really have anything to play for. So take one or two of these calculated risks. One smart move here could be all the difference for your season. So manager 3s, it's now or never, let's go. So goalkeepers, Pope or Kinski. Newcastle have a great home fixture and Pope is a differential with clean sheet upside. Kinski for Spurs, maximum motivation, Spurs are fighting for survival. In defence, Lewis Skelly or Botman. Now Lewis Skelly has forced his way into Arsenal's starting 11 and is playing as a central midfielder, but is listed as a defender in FPL. Arteta has put a huge amount of trust in him for the run-in, so he's a really interesting differential. And then Botman is your alternative to Chow because he's lower owned. Now, speaking of Newcastle players, Bruno Guimaraes is averaging 5.46 points per game. That's the second highest scoring midfielder behind Bruno Fernandes. But here's the number that stands out for me. Bruno Guimaraes actually averages over 7 points per game when he plays at home. And Newcastle host West Ham in Game Week 37. Bruno Guimaraes is their captain, their leader. He has huge motivation to drag his team up the table. So Bruno Guimaraes is my differential pick of the game week. And then Keenan Dewsbury-Hall is the alternative. He's averaging over 5 points per game, and Everton are pushing for Europe. Then in terms of forwards, it's both North London guys. So you've got Gyökeres or Richarlison. Gyökeres is home to relegated Burnley. Arsenal will want to put 5 or 6 past them, and he could be right in the middle of it. And then Richarlison leading the line for Spurs with Solanke out. Maximum motivation, fighting for survival, could be a huge differential. So all of these players come with high risk and high reward, but if you want to go for it and roll the dice, best of luck. So here's my squad going into Game Week 37, and I'm really happy with how it's set up. I've triple Arsenal at home to Burnley, triple City away to Bournemouth, Bruno Fernandes at home to Forest, Harry Wilson away to Wolves, and Thiago at home to Palace. So all those players pick themselves. So my plan is to roll my transfer. I want 2 free transfers heading into Game Week 38 so I can attack the final game week. I was forced into a transfer last week when Okafor got injured, so I brought in Hinchelwood, who went and scored for me. So I will take that, but it does leave me with a benching headache this week. My first dilemma, Welbeck versus Hinchelwood. Welbeck is the starting striker and the penalty taker, but he hasn't scored in a while. Hinchelwood, on the other hand, has scored 3 in his last 3 games. He is on fire. I'm tempted to start Hinchelwood for the upside. The second question, Justin over Kadioglu. Leeds are now safe and technically have nothing to play for. Brighton are pushing hard for Europe. Part of me wants to go all in on Brighton and play Kadioglu alongside Hinchelwood. I haven't fully decided, but I am leaning towards that. Now in captaincy, it's Saka for me. Arsenal at home to relegated Burnley. Arsenal will want to extend their goal difference lead over Man City, and Saka for me is a bit of a differential. And that combination is just too good to ignore. I'll have Haaland as my vice captain, and if you're manager profile 3 and you have Victor Gyökeres, he's a really interesting differential captain option too. But Saka is my pick. It'll be interesting to see if Arsenal get a penalty, who will take it, Saka or Gyökeres? We just don't know. I'm back this week for my Game Week 37 deadline stream. Join me live to see where my team lands and get your questions answered. I'll be live Friday, 5:30 p.m. UK time. That is 1 hour before the Game Week 37 deadline. I will see you there. 2 games left. Fixtures plus motivation equals your shopping list. Know your profile and let your profile determine your transfers. If this video has been useful, subscribe for my Game Week 37 deadline stream. That's 5:30 p.m. UK time on Friday, 1 hour before the deadline. We'll go through our squads and questions live and lock in our teams together. Drop your manager profile in the comments. Are you 1, 2, or 3? Let me know. And best of luck in Game Week 37.